This year's Dasai celebrations come to a formal conclusion today as people across the country are celebrating Kozagrat Purnima. As per tradition, it is the fifth and final day of receiving tika, jamra and blessings from elders as Dasai concludes today. However, this will not mean the end of the festive season as the end of Dasai gives way to another Hindu festival of Deepavali in about 2 weeks' time. Good evening, I'm Abhyuday Shrestha and these are the headlines of the hour. UN Secretary General Antonio Gutteres to arrive in Nepal past midnight tonight to address both the sessions of the Parliament during his 4-day visit to Nepal. Parliament Secretariat concludes the performance at the centre and provinces has been lackluster. Differences persist in the jurisdiction of provinces and local levels. Israeli ground offensive underway. The number of United Nations staff killed in Gaza increases to 53 after 14 lost their lives in the past 24 hours. At least 29 journalists killed since October 7. And Australia clinch a thrilling 5-run victory against New Zealand in today's first match under the ICC World Cup 2023. Netherlands stunned Bangladesh by 87 runs in the second match of the day. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Gutteres is arriving in Nepal past midnight tonight. The UN Secretary General is scheduled to arrive in Nepal on a Qatar Airways flight at 1 a.m. past midnight. Minister for Foreign Affairs NP Saud will receive the UN chief at the airport. The United Nations, in a press release, has said that UN Secretary General Gutteres is arriving in Nepal as a preparation for the World Summit on Climate Change scheduled from 30th of November till 12th of December in Dubai later this year. The United Nations Secretary General's office has said that the objective of the visit is to extend solidarity with Nepal, one of the countries reeling under the impact of climate change. Meanwhile, addressing a program earlier today, Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal said that the UN Secretary General will address the issues on climate change, Nepal's peace process, and the country's sustainable development goal during his 4-day visit to Nepal. Prime Minister Dahal said that the visit by the UN Secretary General would enhance the goodwill of Nepal in front of the international community. Experts back home also called on to utilize the visit of the UN chief to suit the country's interest. The UN chief will then hold a meeting with Minister Saud later in the day tomorrow, followed by separate meetings with Premier Dahal and President Ramchandra Paudel. This will be followed by a joint meeting with former prime ministers of Nepal. Gutteres is also scheduled to visit the Patan Darbar Square before attending a dinner hosted by the Prime Minister tomorrow. Gutteres will visit Solukhumbu and Siangboche this Monday to take stock of the impacts of climate change and return the same day to attend a program to be hosted by the UN House in Lalitpur. He is scheduled to reach Pokhara and stay there overnight. The next day, on Tuesday, he will take the Annapurna circuit trip from Pokhara and address the media after returning to Pokhara. Following this, Gutteres will head to Lumbini and return to the capital to address a joint session of both the houses of the Parliament on Tuesday evening. Gutteres will also hold a press conference on the premises of the Parliament building following his address. The next day, the UN chief will conclude his 4-day trip to Nepal before heading to London. Earlier, the Secretary General's visit to Nepal was postponed in the aftermath of the October 7 Hamas attack on Israel. A study has concluded that the federal parliament and the provincial assemblies have failed to execute satisfactory performances. The study was conducted by a committee under the federal parliament itself. The report, prepared on the basis of the past 5 years' performance, has said that the work execution in terms of the implementation of federalism to the formation of laws has been lackluster. The report says that the federal parliament and the provincial assemblies have failed to execute work as per the sentiments of the Constitution. The study has suggested that the politics in the country needs to be what it says cleansed, and that the parliamentarians and assembly members should focus on the formation of laws rather than being more engaged in power politics. The report has also pointed out confusions regarding work jurisdiction among provincial assemblies and local levels. The study says that the center should have played an instrumental role minimizing this confusion, which it has failed to do so. The study has flayed the first 5 years of the federal parliament and that of the provincial assemblies, while saying that the beginning of the second term has also been disappointing. It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
But before that, let's take a look at the results from yesterday's poll. Yesterday, we had asked you, what can be done to facilitate burn injuries in the country itself? 62% voted for A, build infrastructure, 24% voted for B, create human resource, and 14% voted for C, expand service. And here's today's question. Why are federal parliament and provincial assemblies deemed lackluster? Your options are A, unaccountable people's representatives, B, more concerned in power politics, and C, confusion of jurisdiction. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. The Calendar Determination Committee has said a penumbral lunar eclipse will be witnessed between 1:19 a.m. till 2:38 a.m. past midnight tonight. A penumbral lunar eclipse occurs when a part or all of the moon passes into the Earth's penumbra. This causes a subtle dimming of the lunar surface, which is only visible to the naked eye when about 70% of the moon's diameter has immersed into the Earth's penumbra. The lunar eclipse is expected to see the Earth's shadow cover 6% of the moon. It is said children, elderly, and those with health issues should refrain from eating and sleeping during the penumbral lunar eclipse. Astrology experts say chanting prayers and taking a bath during the eclipse can produce good results. A few astrologers have prepared to witness the eclipse from Udaipur's Bhagalpur, Biratnagar's Children's Park, and Pokhara's Bhadrakali. In our Public Voice segment today, we have asked people in several provinces, why is the state not serious in providing relief to the farmers who have been suffering losses due to various reasons? Let's take a look at what they had to say.
कृषक प्रति त्यति जवाबदेही नभएका कारणले चाहिँ किसानले बेहोर्नु परेको क्षति सरकारले चाहिँ आकलन गर्न नसक्दा उनीहरूले पाएका छैनन्।
रुल्स एन्ड रेगुलेसन्सहरु पास मात्र गरिन्छ, बजेट छुट्याइन्छ, तर अब त्यो पैसा एक्ज्याक्टली किसानहरुका पुगिरहेछ कि कसका पुगिरहेछ कि कसैको पकेटमा पुगिरहेछ त्यो त भन्न सकिदैन। त्यसैको लागि अलिकति मोनिटरिङ गर्नुपर्छ।
जसको पहुँच हुन्छ उसले मात्रै प्राप्त गर्न सक्छ।
सरकार हेल्पै गरिरहेको छैन, त्यही भएर हामीहरुलाई प्रब्लम भइरहेछ।
सरकारकै अब इच्छा शक्ति नभएकै कारणले
व्यक्तिमुखी लक्षित बजेटहरु बढी आउने र बस्तीहरुलाई प्राथमिकतामा नराख्ने कुराहरु पाइएको देखिन्छ।
स्थानीय निकायको नीति नबनेर हो कि
सरकारको एउटा उदासीनताको प्रकाष्ठ हो। किसानहरुसँग त्यो समन्वय नगर्न सकेको कारणले गर्दा
स्पष्ट योजना हुनु पर्यो, त्यसको चाहिँ बजेटिङ हुनु पर्यो। त्यो गर्यो भने मात्रै चाहिँ उनीहरुलाई क्षतिपूर्ति दिन सक्ने अवस्था हुन सक्छ।
नेताले आफ्ना कार्यकर्ताहरु पालन ठेक्क छ अनि कहाँबाट त्यहाँबाट राहत देला त किसानहरुलाई।
It's time now for the international update. Explosions were seen from southern Israeli skylines yesterday as Israel said it was stepping up ground operations in Gaza. The United States and Arab countries have urged Israel to delay the operation in Gaza, which could multiply the number of civilian casualties in the densely populated coastal strip and might ignite a wider conflict. There are also fears about what a ground invasion would mean for the more than 200 hostages reported to be held there by Gaza's ruling Islamist Hamas movement and other militant groups. The United Nations General Assembly overwhelmingly backed a resolution drafted by Arab states calling for an immediate humanitarian truce and demanded aid access to the besieged territory and protection of civilians. The Palestinian death toll from Israeli attacks has reached 7,326. Likewise, the number of United Nations staff killed in Gaza has increased to 53 after 14 lost their lives in the past 24 hours, according to a statement from the UN Relief Works Agency for Palestine Refugees. After 22 days of the Israel-Hamas war, 29 journalists have been killed so far. According to the Committee to Protect Journalists, the correspondents collecting news amid conflict face the most fatal record of killing since 1992. Among those are 24 Palestinians, 4 Israelis, and 1 Lebanese journalists. Amid the warfare, 8 journalists were injured, with 9 missings. According to the Committee to Protect Journalists, 2,225 journalists around the world have been killed since 1992. Most of them, numbering 113, died in 2007. In recent Israeli attacks, internet services were out of order in the Gaza Strip, impeding news collection and dissemination. Likewise, the Israeli Defense Forces said it cannot guarantee security to international news media persons reporting this war. That's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Good night.